Hello, hello. My name is Casey Eileen. For many of you who probably don't know me, I have been called to create this and to be open to what it is and to what it may be. So, yeah. we, I would like to start with saying a couple things. First, as always, take what I speak into your heart, discern, and ask if it resonates for you. If it does not, leave it behind. That is okay. And then the second thing I would like to say is just as a trigger warning, the words and the concepts of sexual abuse will be said in this video. So if that is something that is too much for you to hold, I honor you and I respect you. And let yourself go off and be well, friend. Okay. Those are my notes. What I've been called to create is, they keep calling it the Human's Guidebook to the Shadowlands. And they specifically have made sure that it's not meant to be called a Lightworker's Guide to the Shadowlands, because our human is what walks the Shadowlands. That is what we came here as souls to be able to learn. And so I have been called repeatedly in my life back to the Shadowlands. Learn, to understand, to transmute, to learn about the light and the shadow, the light and the dark. And recently, I've been called because I think often, as you can use the word light worker if you want, or you can just use the word the human searching for the light. We often want to go straight to the light, like moths to the flame. Because the dark is a very uncomfortable place to be. Shadows is a very uncomfortable place to be. And sometimes we find that we are not willing to go back into our own darkness, either of what has happened in this life or karmic cycles that our soul needs to work through. We find ourselves unwilling to let ourselves walk the Shadowlands. We want to jump straight to the magic, to the light, to speaking cool, wonderful light languages, to doing the really cool stuff that is very cool and that is important. But sometimes there's an unwillingness to understand that for some of us, maybe not for all of us, but some of us came here to walk and understand the Shadowlands. And that is what I've been called to create first. Because I know the Shadowlands. I signed up for a life this time around that would walk the Shadowlands. And I want to begin with saying I'm a very firm believer that healing is not linear. So I come to you today with there will be light language and intuitive messages for healing a wound of the Shadowland. But I also want to make it very clear that I still do my own journey. I still cycle back into the Shadowlands so that I can look what I was not willing to look before in the face. They've asked me to be vulnerable and to share just a little bit so that is an intro so you can see human Kasey. How this walk has been my walk as well, because it's really important that we approach this as a team. No one is higher than the other. No one is, well, I've walked it before, so let me show you how to do it. That's not what this is. This is a place for us to speak of the Shadowlands, to try to understand them more, and light guidance to hopefully make it a little easier. So, my walk with the Shadowlands began very early. And that's kind of the first topic that they have wanted me to bring forward, the first wounding that they've wanted me to bring forward, because this specific wound holds a lot of different facets to it. And I will let them speak on that later. Right now, this is the human Kasey. I was sexually abused at 3 years old. And as you can imagine, that shaped a lot of my life, unconsciously and subconsciously. Because when something like that happens at such a young age, psychologically, we'll go into the psychological realms right now, that it happened at a very important developmental stage. And so all of my development since then that was in the center of it. That was there. Part of what happened is that I repressed that memory down, 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 down. Because no version of me was ready to look at it and was ready to see it. No version of me was ready to walk into the Shadowlands of facing that. This wound caused many mental health issues in my life. It caused a disconnection from my body and from my spiritual and love energy bodies. And that's still something that I'm working with. Because that disconnects you from yourself. In 2021, I was 27 years old. And apparently it was time to face it. It was a normal night. I was getting ready for bed. And all of a sudden I had what in psychology is called a flashback. And this is where what happened came back in vivid imagery. And I had a bit of a breakdown. I had to go to the hospital that night because the images that were flooding in and the way my body was reacting to it, I was terrified. And these were the feelings that I had been pushing down for a very, very long time. From 2021 until now, I have been walking the Shadowlands, to be able to understand that wound, to be able to heal it, also to be able to love myself. But in order to heal it, I've had to face it. I also want to make this very clear here that the spiritual side of healing something like this is only one part of it. It is important to do the work with the mind and the work with the body to heal something like this. So this is, if you resonate with this and if this finds its way to you, this is only a small piece of your journey and puzzle, for there is internal work that must be done when we have signed up for something like this. I speak this today because this is I'm realizing more and more how much this specific wound is part of my journey, but it's part of so many others' journey. And it also is a really good one for really hammering the message home of we are sometimes unwilling to look at the darkness. Because that is not an easy thing to look at. But in order to be able to heal it, I had to dive directly into it. Today, what I would like to do after sharing this vulnerability, and sharing this heartfelt love for those who are shadow walkers themselves, I'm going to open myself up to my guides, see if they have any messages to help those walking with this wound, or help those walking in their own Shadowlands, in their own version of wounding. Because sometimes, if we must walk the Shadowlands, it's very helpful to have a lantern. It's very helpful to have light to help guide us. And that is what I am being called to do. Because by walking through the Shadowlands, I have become the person that I am today. And I have slowly been filtered in gifts of healing for others and for myself. And I'm ready to share that. So, I'm going to center myself. I would ask that you do the same. I believe light language is going to come out. That will be for healing. And maybe we'll see what else. So take a few deep breaths with me. We're going to center and connect ourselves. I want you to imagine your roots growing down, 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 Mother Earth, through each loving layer, connecting you to her, connecting you to her inner world, her inner darkness, so to say. Down, down, down to the center. Now I ask that you bring your root lines back up, 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 through yourself, into the sky, and into all that is, so that we are connected together. And the healing and the energy that comes forward now may be of the highest light. Call in the angel and dragon protectors around all connected now. For being in the Shadowlands is a difficult journey. It is one that is a process. To walk the Shadowlands does not happen overnight. Those who have felt grief, those who have felt darkness, and those who have felt the wounds understand and know this. Korere, kumbaradu, kumbarare, ooh. We would like to speak today of the wound that Kasey has brought forward. This is a very, so to say, common wound in the earth today. For this type of wounding is that of both the divine feminine and the divine masculine. It is a wound that Mother Earth even feels, for Mother Earth's divine feminine body has also been ravaged by the divine masculine wound of need and greed. This wound is reflected in a human way as well, like that which occurred to Kasey, and perhaps to some listening now. First, we would like to hold such space and such love for those who feel any remnants, any open wounds or scars of these wounds. And we would like to make it clear that divine masculine and divine feminine is in each one of us. This is not just a feminine wound. This is also a masculine wound. Those who choose to look into this wound, walk into the Shadowlands, as Kasey says in her way, you are not only actively healing yourself, you are also healing Mother Earth. Heal yourself. Heal the earth. Like Kasey, there are many of you who, by choice or not, have brought this wound down, 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 down into your core, into your center. And in a way, Mother Earth has done the same. But eventually, like Kasey, like the top of a volcano, the pain, the darkness, it must erupt. We see that today in Mother Earth as she goes down into her core, like so many of you having the courage to do, to heal this core wound. Many are scared to walk the journey healing. For healing is not, so to speak, butterflies and roses, which it can be pictured to be. Healing is rough, is a ravaging journey into the center of oneself. One must go into the center of oneself, and one must see the darkness and the light. Think of it this way, like a candle's flame. You see the flame. However, you also see the shadow. Many have parts of their home closed off. And they say, I do not go into that room. That room is dark. That room holds things in it that I have chosen to leave behind. But how, my friends, can you create the space for all that your home, your vessel, is intended to do? If there are rooms that are shut away, that you will not look into. The purpose of what we are choosing to co-create with Kasey is to give you a lantern when you choose to go into these rooms. For we say that by healing yourself, choosing to look into your darkness, by not shying away, but by understanding that sometimes to be the light is to be the light in the dark. And we will say, when you go into the Shadowlands, there will be times that you feel you are alone. This is part of the Shadowlands. It is a time for you to understand the light within yourself. But please know that you are divinely protected, divinely loved, and Kasey likes to see now her walks in these lands. There were beings of light and dragons next to her. She could not see them. She could occasionally feel them. But she was never alone in this walk. You were never alone in this walk. And there are some of you
brought some technical difficulties so that Kasey may understand that this is not something that is meant to be perfect. It is something that is meant to be honest. There are some of you who this will resonate with. You will understand that if you yourself are a home, that there are rooms that you have shut off, whether knowingly or unknowingly. It is time to open the door again. Open the window. Let in the moonlight. And understand that you are not alone in your walk. The Shadowlands are not to be feared. They are a part of the human journey you have signed up for. In this final part of this first video, we would like to provide light for you, wherever you are in the journey. If you are just having the bravery to open those doors, or if you are in the middle of that dark room surrounded by the gunk that has built, if you are in the middle of the Shadowlands, may this be a lantern as you journey on your way. We honor, love, and respect you. Amen. Komderia karero kururiana vehana heya tumbo kumbal kararanduk kerarayaro kunguria kerereskendurari kairatunde heya kairiterumbaro baruk Koroterunderia, torondorirandu kerirandu konguru. Be well on your journey. My energy stays with me. Your energy stays with you.